Player ratings then, absolutely embarrassing, wasn't it? Absolutely embarrassing. Manchester City 5, Everton 0. Our season ending, yeah, in sheer disappointment. Let's be honest, sheer disappointment. 10th, I think we've finished, below Arsenal, below Leeds, whatever. It starts quite high, to be honest with you. It goes down very, very quickly. Jordan Pickford is getting an 8 today, man of the match. And what does that tell you when Everton have lost the game 5-0 and the goalkeeper is being given man of the match and getting an 8 out of 10 performance? If it wasn't for Jordan today, Everton lose probably 10-11-0. We certainly break the record for the most goals conceded in a single Premier League game if it wasn't for Jordan Pickford. He conceded 5, but wasn't a fault for any of them, really, was he? He really wasn't. He made 2, 3, 4 absolutely fantastic saves. One to deny Jesus, one to deny Raheem Sterling, a couple to deny Aguero, I think, towards the end of the game as well. Just, again, the only Everton player that can really, I was going to say walk off that pitch with his head held high, but probably won't have his head held high because he's just conceded 5 and we've been utterly embarrassed on the last game of the season. But he's the only Everton player that done himself proud today, to be honest with you. He was solid. He conceded 5 goals, none of them were his fault, and I know it's mad to say, your goalkeeper's getting man of the match and getting an 8 out of 10 when he's conceded 5 goals, but let's be honest, Jordan was very solid today. And, again, like I said, kept us from being embarrassed, but we were pretty embarrassed, weren't we? Let's be honest, we were pathetic. It was absolutely embarrassing. It was shambolic, but he kept the scoreline from being a record breaker, let's put it that way, by making 3 or 4 really big saves. So Jordan's getting an 8, Luca Dean's getting a 1. Just really poor. Obviously didn't put in many deliveries into the box. Can't really blame him too much. We didn't really get out of our own half, did we? Let's be honest. But defensively, he got ripped to bits all game, whether it be by Mahrez, Sterling, Jesus. He was just all over the place today. And I like Luca Dean, and I think Luca Dean's a good player, and he'd be one of, a few that I'd like, Everton to keep going into next season. But he had a nightmare today. He's had an absolute nightmare, and he wasn't very good at all, was he? Let's be honest. So Luca Dean's getting a 1. Michael Keane is getting a 1 as well. Shocking, absolutely shocking. If there's one thing that's quite evidently clear tonight, is that if you watch that and don't think Everton are in need of a centre half this summer, then I honestly don't know what you've watched, to be honest with you, because we are in absolute desperate need of a centre half. Yerry Mina, for as good as he is and for as for me, he's our best centre half. He's not reliable enough. We were told on Friday by Carlo that only James and Seamus Coleman were out. Everybody else was fit. We get to Sunday and Yerry Mina isn't in the squad. Now, he's obviously either picked up a knock in training or he's not fit enough or whatever, but you can't rely on Yerry Mina for as good as he is and for as solid as he is. You simply can't rely on Yerry Mina whatsoever. Michael Keane, not good enough confidence player, and you can't have them in your team if you want to be a successful Premier. If you want to be a mid-table team that, maybe has a little bit of a fight for Europe and probably just finishes 10th like we have, then Michael Keane will be a good player, and he's had really good games this season. He was brilliant against Wolves last time out, but again, he was dreadful today. He was absolutely all over the place. Ben Godfrey, very raw. I like him. Obviously, he's been absolutely brilliant this season. He's been exceptional, one of our shining lights. But again, today he's had a nightmare, and Mason Holgate's not good enough whatsoever. So we're in desperate need of a centre back this summer. Absolute desperate need. And Michael Keane today was just really poor. Granted, he was coming up against world class opposition, world class players, but he was all over the place today. I mean, Sergio Aguero come on with 20 minutes to go, scored 2 goals and got man of the match. He won, I think, 3 or 4 headers whilst on the pitch. He scored a headed goal. He's 5'8", 5'9", something like that. Michael Keane's, 6 foot what, 3, 4, and he's allowing Sergio Aguero to win every header unchallenged, by the way. He was all over the place today, Michael Keane. He's getting a 1. Ben Godfrey, not much better, to be honest. He's getting a 2. His mark is slightly bumped up by the fact that he made a challenge on Raheem Sterling in the second half, which just made me feel a little bit happier than I was. Not much happier, just that there was maybe a slight rather than the old usual out of me. So Ben, again, look, I love Ben Godfrey, like I've just said. I think he's had an excellent season this season. He's been brilliant. He really has. He's come on, leaps and bounds. His physicality, his pace, his energy, his mentality, his work rate is exactly what we need at this footballer when we need more Ben Godfreys throughout this squad. But today he showed that when coming up against a world-class opposition, He's not quite there, which isn't a big issue. I'm not particularly bothered about that, because Ben's got, he's only 22 years old. He's got a lot of years ahead of him to improve on that and to work on that, to become better. But today he just wasn't up to it, was he? So Ben Godfrey is getting a 2. Mason Holgate's getting a 1. Look, I don't just want to sit here and target specific players, but Mason Holgate isn't good enough to play for Everton Football Club. It's the reality of the situation. Mason Holgate isn't good enough to play for Everton Football Club. Just poor again today. Got absolutely rinsed down that right-hand side by Phil Foden. Positional-wise, he was dreadful. On the ball, he wasn't much better. Jordan Pickford had to come out and save him 2 or 3 times, to be honest. Jordan Pickford was playing right back on a couple of occasions because he had to run out because Mason was just left in the changes. And again, I get that. Man City are an unbelievable team, best footballing team in the world by a long stretch. And I understand that Mason isn't at that level, but Mason isn't at that level to play for Everton Football Club. He's just not good enough, certainly as a right back. As a centre back, you're probably looking at him being, 4th choice. Now, as it stands, 4th choice behind Godfrey, Mina and Keane, let alone if, and we should be going out and buying a centre-back in the summer, he then becomes 5th choice. And, if you can make some money on him, if you can sell him for a price, then for me, sell him in the summer. He was poor today. Alan in the midfield then. Alan's getting a 3. Look, I really like Alan, I do, and I think on the ball, he's a good footballer. He's good with the ball at his feet. He can manoeuvre his way through. He had one chance where he moved his feet really well, and then he played Richarlison in him. Richarlison got taken down, and like I said, Michael Oliver was just thinking about those autographs he was going to get at the end of the game, and that nice bottle of beer he might get from Manchester City. I think Michael Oliver was, for the most of the game, thinking, I can't wait for those sandwiches. I wonder if they've got Costco butties tonight. I can't wait for them. And he wasn't interested in anything that happened from an Everton point of view. Neither were any of the Everton players, to be fair. But Alan, again, look, I like Alan, I do. And like I said, on the ball, he's very good, and he works hard and he battles, but he's too slow. He's far too slow. Alan would be absolutely brilliant in a midfield with Decore and another player that's got a whole load of pace, a whole load of energy, gets around the pitch, battles, works hard, constant, can run around constantly for 90 plus minutes. Alan would look brilliant because he wouldn't be reliant on his pace and his energy. But now, in this Everton team, currently he is, and he's not quick enough. And that's not me saying I want to get rid of him or I want us to sell him or anything like that. It was exposed massively today. For the first goal, 2 passes were around him, and that was it. They were gone, and he couldn't catch up. And like I said, you could see that today. So on the ball, he was okay. He tried to make stuff happen, but off the ball, he was a passenger. He was as much of a passenger as Sigurdsson was, as much of a passenger as Holgate was, Davis, Decore. They were all passengers today. And again, I get there's a golfing quality. I get there's a golfing class. There is this Everton squad. This Everton team is here, and this Manchester City team is well up there. But there was a golfing pace and energy today, and there should never be that. We should have at least been able to match. No, I'm not saying we should have at least because of this squad, but for as it doesn't matter how good you are, it doesn't matter if the opposition are much better than you. You should be able to try as hard as they did, and I just don't think we did today. And I don't think we can try as hard because I don't think, like I said, I don't think we've got the players with the energy or the pace to do that. Decore then, he's getting a 2. Ran around a bit, worked hard. Again, passenger there for most of the game, didn't he? Really, nowhere near. I think he gave the ball away for the 4th goal, or maybe it might have been the 5th goal. Defensively, he was atrocious. He was absolutely atrocious. He never offered any help to the defence whatsoever. And he didn't really create anything up the other end of the pitch either. To be honest with you, he's probably lucky to not get a 1 today, really. Again, I really like the core I do, and I think his energy is infectious, and I think his mentality is good, but he's not the best footballer, is he? Let's be honest. And if you put somebody next to him, like I said, who's got a bit of energy, got a bit of pace, and is technically a very good footballer, then yes, Abdoulaye Decore maybe looks a lot better than what he is doing at the moment. But at the moment, we're reliant on not just his energy, but we're reliant on his ability as a footballer, and I just don't think he's, he wasn't good enough today. I like him. Again, I like him. He's had a good season this season, and again, he's had a big injury as well. I understand that. But today he just wasn't up to it, was he? Really, just wasn't up to it. Gylfi Sigurdsson is getting a 1. Yeah, didn't do anything, did he? He had a shot and he missed a penalty, and that was it. Other than that, he passengered the entire game. And again, I think Gylfi's had a good season, but Everton need to be ruthless. I said it in the instant match reaction. If Everton have got aspirations of winning the league, if Everton have got aspirations of playing in, forget winning the league actually, if Everton have got aspirations of playing in the Europa League consistently year in, year out, then they need to be ruthless. They need to grow a pair of balls, get rid of this nice club mentality, get rid of this, we're a lovely club to work for, we're a lovely club for this, for that, the other, we're a footballing club. And if we want the best for our footballing club and the best for our fans, us, then you've got to be ruthless. Go out, and bring in 4 or 5 good quality, right profile players in the summer, but get rid of some of these players that aren't good enough. And Gylfi Sigurdsson is one of them. This is the perfect chance now to say to Gylfi, respectfully, thanks for your goals, thanks for your contributions, thanks for your work as an Everton player. You've had a decent season this season, but you're into your 30s now. We're getting more bad performances than we are good performances, and you're on 150 grand a week or 120 grand a week, whatever he's on. We're going to move you on now, and don't give him a new contract out of because he scored a few goals and a few penalties this season, and because of out of like I said, not sympathy, that's not the right word, sentimentality. Don't be giving players contracts out of sentimentality because they've been here for a while and they scored a couple of goals in a season. He's not good enough. Move him on. Again today, big chance to score a penalty, which would have got us in the game. Yes, we should have had it retaken. Michael Oliver, again, is absolutely shat his pants. But he doesn't. He puts it into Ederson's arms and it's saved, and it pretty much sums up Gylfi Sigurdsson's night. So he's getting a 1. Tom Davies next to him is getting a 1 as well. I love Tom Davies. Everybody knows how much I love Tom Davies. Everybody knows how much I think Tom's had a good season. I think he has had a really good season. But he was everywhere today. I mean, he wasn't everywhere. That makes it sound like he's had a good game. He was nowhere today. He passengered it. I think I done more sitting on my couch than Tom Davies done today. And I feel a little bit sorry for Tom because he's waited on his opportunity for a long time. He was brilliant against West Ham a couple of weeks ago when he's played this season. He's been excellent. He was brilliant in the Merseyside derby, and he sat on the bench and he's waited. He's been given a chance against Man City, and he was shocking today. He was. Did he even touch the ball more than a handful of times? I don't know, to be honest with you. He was hiding, and again, it's difficult when you've got 4 midfield players and you're playing against the Manchester City team that you can't get near and you can't touch the ball. The likelihood is that at least 2 or 3 of those midfield players aren't going to have any touches of the ball whatsoever, and that was what happened to Tom. He was poor today. He was really poor, so he's getting a 1. Richarlison is getting a 3. Ran around, worked hard, battled. Obviously, he won the penalty, which was a blatant penalty, by the way, and should have been a sending off. Embarrassing by Michael Oliver and VAR to not give that a sending off. It's the most clear red card you'll see all season. But yeah, again, ran around for a bit. Had a shot as well in the first half, which he manoeuvred himself into a good area and had a shot, and I think it was deflected out. Worked his socks off, really, but nothing come from the end of it, did it? Nothing come from the end of it, so he's getting a 3. And then Dominic Calvert-Lewin's getting a 1. I like Dom. I really do like Dom, and as always, he works hard, he battles, he fights, but there was nothing today. There was absolutely nothing, and I don't particularly put that to Dom because he didn't get any service, nobody was playing it to him, we weren't utilising that over-the-top ball to Dominic Calvert-Lewin, so I don't particularly blame Dom for not having his greatest of games, but let's be honest, you can't give him any more than a 1. He didn't do anything, did he? Onto the bench then, Bernard and then Nkunku, may as well match them together. They're both getting a 1. Come on. And again, it's not a 1. They were awful. It's just he didn't do anything. Bernard, come on. Maybe had a couple of touches of the ball. And Nkunku, come on. And he misplaced 2 passes. I feel a bit sorry for him, to be honest. He's come on. Why is Nkunku coming on when we're 5-0 down to Manchester City on the last game of the season? What's the point? If you've not had the faith and the trust in the kid to bring him on, in games that we actually need to win against teams that we actually can beat, then don't be bringing him on to when we've been absolutely embarrassed as a charity ploy. Just leave him on the bench. And then Iwobi is getting a 3, slightly better because he played 1 pass into Richarlison. That Richie was it Dom? I don't think it was Richarlison, and he couldn't quite get it out of his feet. But other than that, Iwobi didn't do anything either. And there you go. Our season ends in disappointment. Everton, I believe, finished 10th. I haven't seen the Premier League table, but I'm going to assume we've finished 10th. And I honestly can't be bothered with footy now for a long time. I can't. I'll still be here tomorrow doing the review and Tuesday and Wednesday and talking about transfers and all of that, but this club needs serious change from top to bottom. Serious change. And by that I mean there's a number of players, there's a number of staff, there's a number of board members that just need to go. Because they're not, if you believe that's good enough, then just go. I don't care if you're Carlo Ancelotti, you're Duncan Ferguson, you're Richarlison, your Calvert-Lewin, your Godfrey, your Pickford, your Alan, your Hammers, your Denise Barrett-Baxendale, your Bill Kenwright, your Farhad Moshiri. If you believe that's good enough, I don't care who you are at the football club, walk out the door, because that is an absolute shambles. And those players, the majority of those players that I've just read out, and the majority of them that are in that squad that didn't feature today, are nowhere near good enough. We had a bench of 8 players. We can field now. We could only field 8, and 2 of them are goalkeepers, and the rest of them were shite. It's a shambles. It's an absolute shambles. We're pathetic. We've embarrassed ourselves. We've been, like I said, we were the punch bag today. We were the dartboard. We were the laughing stock. We were the victim of Aguero's big day, and we could have ruined that. We could have ruined that day by turning up and showing a bit of grit and showing a bit of battle. But as usual, we've turned up and went, yeah, we're happy to sit down. We're happy to get our bellies tickled. We're happy to roll around. And like I said, this squad of players just isn't good enough. And Everton need to be ruthless in the summer. And by ruthless, I mean start by not handing Gylfi Sigurdsson a new contract. Start by saying to Iwobi, Keane, Holgate, Gomez, whoever it may be, you're not good enough and you're up for sale because you're not good enough to play for this football club, and you'll be moved on. We can talk about bringing in players and improving the squad like that, but what's the point in bringing in 4 or 5 players if we're going to go and give Gylfi Sigurdsson a new contract on 100k a week? If we want to be a team that are challenging in Europe, that are challenging at the top end of the table, not only do we need to get the recruitment right from players coming in, but we need to be ruthless with players leaving that aren't good enough to play for the football club. And there's a lot of those players there that aren't anywhere near good enough to wear that shirt. And let's hope that a lot of them aren't wearing the shirt next season, because they don't deserve it. They really, really don't deserve it. Again, it comes down to this season as, are these players either not good enough, or do they not care? I do think it's a bit of both, but I think the majority of it is they're just not good enough whatsoever. And that was on show today. But there you go. Disappointing result. A shambolic, pathetic result, let's be honest. Ends what has been a season with positives, positive moments, positive spells, positive results, positive performances, but overall, the lack of quality, the lack of commitment, the lack of passion, the lack of fight, the lack of energy, the lack of care in this squad has come back to bite us on the arse, and we've ended up finishing bang 10th, which, Everton could have ended today finishing 7th in a European place, but we haven't. We've finished 10th. There you go. Like I said, I'm just, I don't know anymore. There you go. If you've enjoyed it, leave a like. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. Leave your comments in the comment section down below. And yeah, I'm done with Everton for the time being now. Hopefully we can talk about transfers and this, that and the other, but like I said, this club needs to grow a pair of bollocks and be ruthless in the summer, and that means moving on players that aren't good enough and bringing in players that are good enough to improve this team. And those decisions need to be made by the management and the director of football. It's make or break for Marcel Brands this season. Said in the instant match reaction this summer, it's make or break for Marcel Brands now. If he doesn't get it right this summer, then maybe he shouldn't be at Everton Football Club. But let's wait and see. Big thanks for watching. Leave a like if you've enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. We'll see you soon. Cheers. Ta-ra.